Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jennifer Urezzio, and I'm the founder of soullanguage.us. And I am here with Susan Trumpler, and we are talking about how to get real, especially around having those, what people seem to think are really hard conversations around sales. Hi, Susan.
Hello, Miss Jennifer. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Now, let me get real. I'm a little cranky today, but I don't know why, right? Sometimes I just wake up cranky. Um, the dog and I went for the same stick at the same time, and she actually got a little bit of and I think that's making me a little cranky because it hurts. And
Yeah,
I think that's so important when you're having conversations with people to stop putting on that facade and the face because people realize it or not, correct?
that's the truth. Here's the thing, that exchange that you and I just had. How are you doing, Jennifer? I am fine. It is almost like it has been ingrained into our head. When someone asks you this, you then reply that because why? It's easier, it's faster, you don't have to be vulnerable. It's just a nicey nice thing. But nicey nice stuff doesn't deepen relationships.
No. And it doesn't let people, especially when you're having that conversation about being a resource for someone, it doesn't really build trust because people know whether they're conscious or not. They know they read a lot of things that they're not fully aware of. And those people that are empathic and intuitive are reading them as well. And so they're all coming through, whether consciously they're ingesting them or they're just as ingesting them on a subconscious level. And so then we get I know she's saying one thing, but it feels like she's doing something else. And then we don't have this trust to go, yeah, I totally want this resource that we've been crying for and demanding of the universe. So, my question for you is how do we get real about being real?
Oh my gosh, such a great question. It's so funny as you were talking about that. What was coming to mind for me is a Facebook feed or an Instagram feed, right? Where that is exactly what is in my mind. I'm looking at these feeds and I'm looking at people who are, using the medium to promote themselves, to try to increase engagement and, increase relationship and communication, right? So they're using these feeds. It's almost like that. Hi, how are you? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
fine. When I look at that, Jen, I look at it and I'm like, is that real? Like, are they really that happy? Is that program really that effective?
Right.
And so to go to your question is like, why do we do this? And two things come to my mind more than anything else. The first is kind of like social norms. Like you feel comfortable when you're in a clan of people doing the same things, right? So business owners go and they see things, they say things, they go to networking meetings, they say the same thing. They hear somebody say something like, oh, that would be good. I will do that. That will be what will work for me. And so it's almost an easier out to conform to what you're seeing happening. The problem is there's no authenticity to it and no one gets to know you. And so they see you the same way they're looking at everybody else, like,
Right.
are they real?
Lampshades.
Are
Right.
they real? Yeah, exactly. Party lampshades on their head. So I think that's the first thing is it's easy and you want to be part of the crowd, part of the rest of the folks that are supposedly creating success that way. Um, but that's what they're showing you, right? So that's kind of the first thing. All right, the second thing, and I think the thing that is really, really at the core of what we do a lot of times is fear of vulnerability and actually fear of being seen. For the risk that comes at the other end of that is I might be rejected.
Yeah.
So let's play small. Let's kind of just like only let people see a certain amount of who you are, because if I protect myself, then surely I won't get rejected. And I
Right.
think that's a big part of why people.
Yeah, so there's a delicate balance about, not taking it personally and making it personal, right? Like, listen, you're a resource for someone, they're a resource for you. No one's the source for you. I think so often in sales, we're like, oh my God, this person is, how I'm going to eat tomorrow, which is not true, right?
Not
A-
true.
And then because we're attached to it so much, making it so personal, we are not really willing to show people who we are and
Mm.
be this, get real, truly be real with another person in order to kind of conclude and get what we want out of that sales conversation. So my question for you is like, what goes on in your head? Like, how do you, in your sales conversation personally, how do you kind of do that balance act of being real and being real?
Yeah. So I can sense it in myself. I'm just going to tell you that I know when I'm having a real sales conversation, I am a different person.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you how that shows up. It's like the deeper the relationship and the connection, the more that I have complete freedom to speak whatever is on my mind and not feel pushy, right?
Yeah.
So if I am having a sales conversation, it's almost like I'm not sure if you remember, Jen, you and I are close to the same age. Some of the people listening to this might not know, but do you remember driving a standard shift car?
Well, I remember it. Can I do it? No, but I remember it.
I did it pretty good. I had some sports cars that were fun to drive, but it's that governor where you're pushing the gas down and you're letting up on the clutch.
And
And
you
there's a
don't
point where
stall.
you're in neutral, right? Now, there's a point where if you don't pull the clutch up enough and you're pushing the gas down, the engine is just revving and revving and revving and revving. If you if you're in neutral, like the gas and the clutch are at the same place, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
When you are able to release the clutch slowly and push the gas properly, you can rock it forward at high speeds. Okay. That's how you know you're having an authentic sales conversation. Either your engine is revving loud and obnoxiously because you're pushing too hard, too fast before the relationship is created. In neutral, you're creating the relationship, but you haven't gotten to the point yet where that connection is right at the right spot. Once you get that spot, there's this freedom within you that you just in your heart know exactly what you need to say to help this person in a way that will be so beneficial to them, that you have passion about it and that you're excited and you're going forward in the conversation. It's palpable.
Yeah.
It's literally palpable.
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing up a very funny memory of me learning how to drive a stick on the ice in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and
Oh
being
my.
stuck at a stop sign. And my poor friend was like, "Oh my God, I need a drink." And this truck pulls up to me, and he rolls down the window, and I roll down my window. And I was young, I was like in my 20s. And he goes, "Lady, you got to give it gas." And my friend goes, "I've been telling her that." I was like, "I'm afraid to give it gas." So
Oh,
it's really interesting because in my sales conversation, I feel really free. And if I don't feel free, if I feel like an
right,
angst in my body or an
right.
agenda, or if I don't like the person, really seriously, if I don't like the person, I
I
mean, I
get it.
can love everyone. Like I have to really want to like my clients. Then I can feel that kind of
Yeah.
pushing. And sometimes I don't even, especially in a connection call and we're talking, sometimes I don't even talk about how I can support someone. There's my phone going off for the hundredth
No
time.
worries.
I think there's a freedom of that. And I think that's about providing tools and structures for people to feel totally safe and comfortable within their frame and within their business,
Mhm,
and the internal structure and then the external structure. So it is like, oh, we're just having a conversation and, let's see where all this goes. Because in
mhm,
my verbiage, I always start with the knowing that I'm safe and loved and supported and provided for. So
mhm.
let's see
Exactly.
what happens.
I love the way you put that, internal structure and external structure. So from the external, let's start with the external. Have you earned the right in the relationship to sell? That's really the bottom line. Is you cannot, you've got to, and you said it before, you've got to let go of the attachment
Right.
of what the outcome is going to be. And you can still do that. You can still have goals. You can still drive forward, but you've got to let go of the attachment, because what's happening when you're attached to the outcome of something, you're pushing the gas pedal too fast, too hard.
Right.
So externally, let go of that attachment and create that relationship. Internally, know that you have absolutely everything you need and everything that the person you're communicating with will want to have, and that you are 100% worthy of what you are providing to that person. If you don't have that inside of you, you can never become the real you. Never.
Right.
So you've got some internal work to do, and then you've got some external work to do. That's all, Jen. It's easy.
It's easy.
It's easy.
And here's the thing. I firmly believe that you know, we need guides and support. We need someone to kind of, in my verbiage, hold that level of consciousness and, help us go over those kind of rope bridges where they have crossed already to support and help us evolve. I think, and there's no shame in that, right? It's really beneficial to receive support to someone who's gone over all the nooks and crannies, and also who can see something that you can't see because you're in it. And I think I got this LinkedIn message today from this guy who was like, "So can I ask you a question?" And I was like, if this is a question which leads to a pitch, no. This is another type of question, sure. Like all of those marketing
Mhm,
mumbo jumbo
mhm,
tactics that people are teaching and people have learned
mhm.
don't work when someone's trying to be their authentic self. It
It
it just,
doesn't.
like, it's like a neon light lighting at someone, and then someone punishes themselves because they're not kind of closing the deal.
Mhm,
So, where do people start in, like, creating this whole new sales story
mhm,
and
mhm,
sales experience and being their real self? Like,
mhm.
where do they start?
Gosh, I wish I could say it's just like so easy. You just do this and then magically, you've done it. But great example that you gave is that every day we're getting hit with visuals or audibles that are telling us do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. So the first thing you have to do is take a breath and decide how you want to show up and how you want to create success for yourself, and forge the path that can authentically make you feel good, that you're in integrity with who you are. All right. I Here's what I think you'll get a kick out of this. Again, gosh, this is showing my age. I think about medicine men, or those people that were in the carnies and they sold these magic elixirs, right? The cure all. You can take
Yeah,
this and it's going to cure everything.
yeah, $5,
Yeah,
it
$5.
cures anything from hair loss to losing your teeth, and it was all alcohol.
A more recent might be the Windex version of that in
Oh
My
my
Big
god.
Fat Greek Wedding,
I love the Windex
cures
version.
everything, right? Well, listen, I think of the people that I see on the internet that are bombarding us with sponsored ads as those people, the medicine man that has a cure all and the magic elixir that we all want. And so you don't want to be that person, because that person has literally used a system that's been created by these online
Gurus.
marketing
Yeah.
gurus that if that's who you want to be, that's fine, go and do it. But what I'm saying is, if you want to be someone who feels that you can be authentic and sell through relationship and connection, don't buy into that stuff. Don't buy that next $37
Right.
5-hour video course that's going to magically create, clients for you. It's BS. And don't fall into that trap. It looks alluring. Your mind is going, ooh, that would be
Yeah.
so cool to have a fast result like that. But I'm sorry, that's not how it works. So
No, and it's also those, if you're reading the copy or watching the video or talking to someone and they're plucking at your fear,
yeah.
not you feel nervous or excited or you notice that you're not good enough is coming up, but they're literally going plucking at your fear where you feel that, oh my God, your heart rate is racing like you want to run screaming from the room, then run screaming from the room, like, because those situations are going to keep talking to your fear. They're going to keep plucking at it. They're going to keep kind of tearing you down. And you're not going to be able to find your voice in your own sales approach. And I think that's key,
Yeah.
right? It's real. And what I love about you is, you provide structure and internal and external and all of these tools. And yet, what you're really doing is you're helping people find their own voice
Yes.
and receive from that voice and know that they're safe to be seen. And what I love about you is what I call consciously transparent, right?
Mm.
Like, you're like me. If some you like I love you, Susan. You have no poker face, right?
Oh, I
Like,
have
I
no.
have no poker face, right? And so it's right on here. So we're like, yeah, we're just going to talk about it because we can't run from it. And I think that's what's so amazing with you, because you really talk about your experience, you talk about what's currently going on, and you're consciously moving through those experiences. So, what keeps you real in your sales game?
Yeah. It's so funny you said the poker face thing because I can't be unreal. I wear it on my sleeve.
Yeah.
It's so obvious that I'm not being real. I tried it. I had this one launch that I went through and I hired a brand strategist and a coach, and they fed me, they created all this copy for me in my emails. And I kept looking at it and I kept going, I would never say this. I don't think I would ever say this. And I had that tightening, like that, oh, but Jen, in the back of my mind, I was like, I should listen to them because they're the experts. They know, like, they know how to do this marketing stuff and they'll get me what I need. And at the end of the day, it worked out okay. I never felt good about it. And I honestly will never do that again because the feeling of showing up that way takes all the joy out of the results that you create. It's
Right.
just not the way I want to do business. I'm going to be here. Here's the thought in my mind that drives me. I am going to be in business for a long time. I better damn well show up as the real me because I can't put the energy into faking anything.
No, it takes it.
It's
Listen, you
way too much
actually,
energy.
yeah, you have to be a genius to keep up that front, right? Like, I'm just not that smart to like keep all of that stuff up. That's why I don't lie either. I'm not just not smart enough,
Yeah.
because you have to remember all of the things and all of
Yes.
the little, right? So, as we're wrapping up today,
Yeah.
and before you give out where people can get more of your loveliness and goodness, what is the one thing you want people to remember from our conversation today?
The one thing that I want you to remember is to be brave and show up real, and don't fall prey to the voice inside your head that's telling you you might get hurt. Realize that that voice is trying to protect you, but it's not useful, and you can lovingly tell that voice, just Shh, I got this.
Yeah.
I can do this. I can show up as my real self, and not be afraid of rejection, because it's going to happen. You're going to get loved if you show up as the real you. Not by everybody, Jen, but by the
No.
people who you should be connected to.
Right.
You will
And
feel the love come right back.
you don't want to be loved by
Yeah,
everyone,
don't
right?
cheat yourself.
Like, you really want to surround yourself with your peeps,
Yeah.
right? You want the people in your communities that are going to adore you, be seed spreaders for you, and really, allow you to show up and be you and enjoy what you do and the service that you bring. Where do people get more of your goodness? What's your
Oh,
site?
unstoppable women in business.
Love
It
it.
is a movement, unstoppablewomeninbusiness.com. Follow me on Facebook, same name everywhere, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Beautiful.
It's me.
Well, thank you so much for being real today and sharing with us all of your goodness. And, I think that it's so important that, we keep telling people, and people keep fully embodying it, that the only way for you to really succeed in business is to show up and be you and know that you're safe to be seen. So thank
Amen,
you so
sister.
much.
Oh, thank you, Jen. I love you.
Love you.
All right.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.